Tracy Lords. Tracy Lords didn't just shake up the adult film industry, she detonated it. Entering the X-rated world at only 16, under a false ID, she starred in dozens of films before the truth came out. The scandal rocked the industry and forced new laws around age verification, but Tracy didn't crumble under the weight of controversy. Instead, she flipped the script. She fought her way into mainstream acting, landing roles in cult films like Cry Baby and Blade, and appearing in major TV shows. Refusing to be boxed in by her past, she became an outspoken advocate for women's autonomy and reinvention. Hollywood tried to blacklist her, but she became the blacklist's biggest success story. Tracy Lords didn't ask for permission. She took her seat at the table by force. Her journey from underage scandal to respected actress and artist exposed Hollywood's double standards and showed that a woman's past doesn't define her worth, her choices do. She didn't just break a rule, she exposed the system's flaws and rewrote the playbook. Marilyn Chambers. Marilyn Chambers was the original shockwave. America met her on Ivory Snow detergent boxes, a clean-cut, all-American girl. Then, almost overnight, she stunned the nation by starring in Behind the Green Door, one of the first adult films to reach mainstream attention. The juxtaposition sent shockwaves through conservative media. But Marilyn didn't apologize, she embraced the chaos. With grace, beauty, and raw charisma, she helped transform adult films from backroom obscurity to a cultural conversation. Her crossover appeal gave the adult industry a new face, one that looked straight into Hollywood's camera and said, "We're not going anywhere." Marilyn attempted to jump into mainstream acting, often hitting resistance, but she persisted, appearing in horror films and public interviews that confronted her past with unshakable pride. She didn't see shame in her choices, only hypocrisy in those judging her. Marilyn Chambers proved that fame wasn't just for the chosen, it was for the bold. And though the gatekeepers tried to lock her out, she kicked the door wide open, in heels. Sasha Grey. Sasha Grey didn't just enter the adult industry, she dissected it. At 18, she took control of her image from day one, making bold, controversial choices that turned heads and challenged norms. But Sasha wasn't there to fit in, she was there to disrupt. While critics focused on shock value, she focused on business, branding, and blurring lines between art and erotica. After becoming one of the most talked-about adult stars of her generation, she walked straight into mainstream Hollywood, landing a leading role in Steven Soderbergh's The Girlfriend Experience. She was no fluke. Sasha wrote books, gave TEDx talks, starred in indie films, and cultivated a global fanbase that saw her as something deeper. A thinker, a creator, a provocateur. Hollywood didn't know what to do with her. She wasn't playing by their rules. Sasha Grey became the ultimate contradiction, educated, empowered, and sexually fearless. Her career proved that a woman could be in full control of her body and her brand, and that the X and X-rated could also stand for extraordinary. Ginger Lynn. Ginger Lynn was the poster girl of 1980s adult film glamour, but she wasn't just about fantasy, she was a fighter. At the height of her fame, Ginger was the biggest name in adult entertainment. She brought personality, humor, and heart to an industry that often wanted women to be silent. But Ginger had other plans. When she felt the adult world wasn't enough, she pivoted, not with apologies, but with attitude. She made her way into mainstream cinema, starring in B-movies and working alongside cult icons like Charlie Sheen. She faced judgment at every turn, but Ginger owned her past with pride. She refused to be shamed. Instead, she made it part of her power. Ginger Lynn helped rewrite the narrative. Adult stars weren't disposable, they were durable. They weren't victims, they were veterans of an industry no one had the guts to admit shaped pop culture. In a world that loves to build women up just to tear them down, Ginger stayed standing, fierce, funny, and completely unfiltered. Maitland Ward. Maitland Ward's transformation was as bold as it was unapologetic. Best known as the sweet, red-headed Rachel on Boy Meets World, she shocked fans when she transitioned into adult entertainment. But for Maitland, it wasn't a downfall. It was a breakthrough. While Hollywood offered her shrinking roles and fading fame, the adult industry gave her freedom. She didn't just perform, she produced, wrote, and took control of her image in a way she never had before. Maitland's decision was deliberate and empowering. Instead of hiding from the past, she used it to fuel a new narrative. Women could own their sexuality, their careers, and their legacies. She won top industry awards, gained massive media attention, and became a symbol of fearless reinvention. Her story rattled Hollywood, where age and typecasting crushed careers, and she crushed back. Maitland Ward didn't just switch industries, she flipped the power dynamic. Her fame isn't a comeback, it's a declaration. And in doing so, she reminded the world, real success isn't staying where you're safe, it's stepping where others won't. Jenna Jameson. Jenna Jameson didn't just star in adult films, she became the brand. Crowned the queen of porn, she built an empire in an industry where most women were barely allowed to own their names. But Jenna owned everything, her body, her image, her company. With her charisma and business savvy, she didn't just gain fame, she made history. Her autobiography, How to Make Love Like a Porn Star, became a New York Times bestseller. She crossed into mainstream pop culture, appearing on reality TV, in video games, and talk shows. While others were denied a second act, Jenna wrote her own. She refused to be shamed or silenced. Through every reinvention, from adult icon to mother, entrepreneur, and media personality, Jenna Jameson defined herself. She became the face of an industry, and later, the face of survival in a culture that tries to bury women with pasts too provocative. She didn't just break Hollywood's rules, she burned them, then sold the ashes as a brand.